Hey there, ASLers. Welcome back to another unboxing video. Package just arrived in the mail, and we're going to unbox Beyond Valor 3rd edition. Just ordered this in the mail a couple weeks ago. I already have enough pieces that I really don't need this, but after after that one JDM comment by Ben on the counters, I wanted to redo all my counters, so I figured what better way than to spend the money and buy this thing. So Beyond Valor, we're gonna unbox it right now, and let me just break out the components. And we'll see you guys in the end of the video. All right, bye. All right, so let's get into this. Beyond Valor. So this is the card that comes with every Multiman Publishing product. Just a quick summary at the bottom of what the contents contain, as well as some contact information up top. So what do we get in this box here? We've got the box and lid, obviously. We've got 10 map sheets. So these are the 8 by 22 stiff cardboard ones, not the hard-mounted map boards like we used to have. Starter kit type, I suppose. It contains 14 counter sheets, so 13 full sheets and 1 half sheet. Now that should encompass the complete German, Russian, and starter finish orders of battle. I say starter finish because Hakapala has come out, and inside that module you get the complete Finnish battle for early, mid, and late war Finnish conflicts. But this one's got Russians, Finns, and Germans, as well as including partisan squad types. Not to mention all your basic counters, which is definitely what you're going to need. The box set also includes 12 scenario cards for a total of 24 scenarios. Scenarios 1 through 10 and 123 to 136. And 4 dice. Nice, look at that. What a shit roll. Yeah, so let's get into the box contents. Right, first up we have ASL scenario number 1, Fighting Withdrawal. This is one that Dave and I have played. It's got one map board, it's a city map board, the one with the huge graveyard in the center. And the concept is Russians set up in defense. Finns are at the north edge of the map board, and the Finns have to exit off the south edge. And the Russians win by exiting similar more XP than the Finns, which is hard to do because they're outnumbered by 2 squads, and or trying to lay them to the fact that the Russians can make off enough squads to count. It was quite a good scenario, if I remember correctly. We had fun playing it, and I think it's well balanced, so that's always good. Now, Russians are subject to ammunition shortage. I can't remember how that plays into it, but I think it reduces breakdown numbers of the 3 support weapons that the Russians have. But it's a good scenario nonetheless. Next up, we got Mila 18, which is Jewish partisans versus SS in Warsaw, January 43. So not a great day for the Jews. 10 658 SS versus 11 337 partisan squads. Yes, the Zob units are fanatic and stealthy, and they can use Molotovs, and they can also set up HIP, but they suffer from ammunition shortage as well. Never played a partisan scenario. I don't know what it is about them. They just don't strike me as very something I want to delve into, although this one seems a bit interesting. Yeah, interesting. Next up, we have Cerniakow Bridgehead in Warsaw, Poland. Apologies if I butchered that name, which I probably did. September 44, 3 boards, 10 turns. A lot of squads in this one. So the 27, including a mix of partisans and regular force for the Russians, against 15 White Russian Germans. So White Russians were either expat Russians or POWs that were captured that were convinced to fight for the Nazi cause against their Russian brethren. No Russian on Russian action. Commissar's house, everybody's probably favorite scenario. Good mixture of troop types, elite Russians, first line Russians, fortifications. You got German engineers, flamethrowers, and DCs, and you're fighting in 2 city boards. Uh, so nice and deadly melee going on. A lot of squads. We got 25 Russians to 25 Germans, so it's very well balanced. And you're dealing with most of 2 map boards for the playthrough. This is a nice one. I think we're going to try this one again when we go back to the Russians versus Germans. The site of the Volga, 13 September 42, Stalingrad. So this is just the first couple of days in the Stalingrad cauldron. The 25 squads of the 194th are making their way towards the Volga, facing off against 20 Russian squads. 1 infantry gun, which probably do a good number on them. And again, same 2 map boards as in the last one, the Commissar's house, 1 and 20. 10 turns, so it's going to take a while to cross all that deadly terrain. And the Russians will be reinforced with 6 to 8 SMG squad, I think it is. Not engineers. Yeah, interesting. Site of the Volga. Red packets. This one is very small. It's got 3 German vehicles and a half squad versus motorcycle scouts with a truck and some kind of half track. I think that's SA 6 or 5. Maybe it's a BA 6. I can't make it out right now. It's too small. Yeah, I'm not going to play this one here. I don't know. I'm not liking it. Dash for the Bridge, scenario number 7. This is in Warsaw, Poland again, September 44. 2 boards. It looks to be the Germans setting up in defense while the Russians come trucking through. So you've got 6 T-70s versus 2 37 long AT guns. And I believe the Germans can set up HIP and have bore sighting. And there's a roadblock somewhere along here, so it's a good way to funnel your tanks into your kill zones, or funnel the Russian tanks into the German kill zones. And there's a very long SSR here, number 4. Number 8, the Fugitives. So this one is 9 turns, 2 boards. Looks to be low visibility for the first 4 turns. Yeah, pre-dawn twilight, which adds a +1 TEM to all fire, making FFMO inapplicable during those turns. Why not just use the low visibility rules than Chapter E? Would make much more sense. But this is obviously written before there was a Chapter E, and they just never adjusted that. Mixture of guns, vehicles, and troop types. No OBA. Russians can set up a couple units HIP. Berlin, May 45. Eh? So Russians set up, German counterattack. So Germans set up on board 20, and you have to exit off the west edge in 9 turns. At least 33 victory points total. Wow. So what do we got here? We got 11, 15, so that's 30 points. 32 for the leader. 3, 4, 5, 6. 36 for your infantry. I assume the gun's going to probably die in place with the crew. And then you have the one captured T-34-85. Oh, what am I talking about? I was counting up the Russians. Let's skip that. So then we got Fugitives, ASL scenario number 8, May 45, 2 map boards, 9 turns. We have the first 4 turns include a pre-dawn twilight, which is basically the low visibility rules before they develop those in Chapter E. This one here gives you a +1 TM to all fire, so therefore your moving in open is going to be canceled out. Doesn't matter if you're moving on a road in open, doesn't gets wiped out by that. Germans have to exit 33 or more victory points off the west edge. Now they've got a total of 8, 13, 26, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah. I guess they'll have enough. A lot of troops for them to get off with. Could be doable. We have scenario number 9 to the square. Again, Warsaw, Poland. That's like, what, 3 scenarios now? And 43, 44, and 45. So this one's January 45. Winter conditions in effect. 4 map boards and 10 turns. I do not think we'll be playing this one. Seems to be too involved. And the Russians also get 80mm OBA. 20 squads and 4 T-34-85s up against, what do we got, 16? No, 14 German squads. Only 2 50 long AT guns to fend off against the 4 T-34-85. So, although it is January 45, which means they have a 3x range, I believe, on the Panzerfaust. So there is that. Although, of course, your chance of hitting that range are pretty shite. Scenario 10, the Citadel. Dave and I played this one. Boards 20 and 23. 23 is a canal board, which cuts across the board. And there's a large church on the north side of the river, which the Russians can set up in. And the Germans are south of the river. So that vantage point pretty well eliminates any movement along this canal, which forces the Germans to come in from the west and attack the Citadel, which is roughly in this location here. I think it's well balanced. We had definitely a lot of fun playing this one. I think we did it twice, and we may have had 1 or 2 solo playthroughs just to see how things panned out as well. But definitely enjoyable scenario. Large numbers of troops, so you've got 32 Russian squads, you got 3 guns, a couple of cupolas, 2 bunkers, and you're facing off against 26 German squads with 3 Stugs in support. One thing I failed to do was use armored assault to help run down the road. It would probably have saved me a lot of grief, and I would have got closer to the objective than I did on the one playthrough. But still a good scenario. 123. Now we move into other ones. So this is Finnish versus Russia, November 39, just at the start of the early Finnish war. Again, 26 squads. 11 tanks for the Russians. It takes 14 turns to play, which is a crazy amount of time. And 6 Finnish squads can set up HIP, and the Finns also have winter camouflage, which affects them for long range shots. Well, I guess any kind of shots. Yeah, nice scenario, I think, but I don't think we're going to be doing this one. You never know, though. You get bored. Here we go, another one. Finns versus Russians. Again, 13 turns this time. 26 Russian squads versus 12 Finnish squads. Wow. And the Russians get 2 modules of 100mm OBA. Wow. Yeah, I don't think we're doing those ones. All right, so for first crisis, Army Group North, here we have Russians versus Germans again. Russians on the attack. This is June 41, so this is actually a Russian counterattack, I guess. Two map boards, 8 turns, small numbers of troops, and almost as many vehicles as there are troops. So we've got what, 7 Russian tanks to 8 squads. We've got 5 German squads, 5 German tanks to 4 German squads, including or not including a couple of crews. 37 long and an 88 anti-aircraft gun to help deal with that pesky Russian armor. Should do good on them. Russians win them by exiting 3 AFVs with functioning main armament off the west edge of the map board. 7 AFVs, and they have to get at least 3 of them across the board. Commando Shanky, Latvia, June 1941. Russians again versus Germans, with the Germans on the attack this time. 15 Germans against 11 Russians. This one looks doable. Board 1 is a city board. Looks like all multi-hex buildings are 2-story houses with an inherent stairwell, and all locations of building IX4 are fortified. Right. Yeah, this one looks doable. Land Leviathans. Looks to be beginning of a tank battle here. So this is July 41. We've got some, these are Panzer 3Fs. I think it's a 3F. Versus T-34s. Looks like a BT-5. A couple T-28s. Wide mix of Russian armor. Russians win by exiting 3 AFV or more with functioning main armament off the west edge. And they've got 1, 2, 5, 9, 10, 11 AFVs, and they only need to get 3 off the board. And the Germans have 5 tanks to stop them. Alrighty, and a single ATR, so I guess we're going for mobilization shots. I don't think a 37 long is going to do anything against these armor types. Defense of Luga, scenario 128, Russia 1941. Again, 4 boards, 14 turns. We're not doing this one. 13 squads. You got 6 crews for all the guns that they have. Versus, Jesus, 41 Russian squads. And 12 pieces of armor. Wow. Wow. This looks like it would be an intense, probably be a lot of fun, but I think it's too involved for us. I don't think we're going to be able to handle this. Although it does look really fun. Slamming of the door. So this is Penikovo Forest, Russia, 17 August 1941. Seems to be well balanced. 10 Germans, 3 tanks versus, well, maybe not, 16 Russians and 6 Russian tanks with a lone ATR to help take those tanks down, and 3 Stugs. The Germans do get an 80mm battalion mortar OBA. I guess that's good. Oh, the tanks come on as reinforcements sometime between turns 2, 3, and 4, so they start off outnumbered 10 squads versus 16 and 6 tanks. I don't know. Debacle at Khorasan. Khorasan in, I guess it's Ukraine. 30 August 1941. Cavalry, eh? We've never done cavalry, so this would be one to definitely try to practice that, although cavalry against machine guns is probably never a good recipe for success. So the Russians have to exit 24 VP off the south. which is 12 squads out of the 18 have to survive. Well, not including leaders. And they have to amass at least 17 victory points off of the Germans, which means they can't just run off the board. Now that's 17 victory points, so that's killing all the infantry would be 8, 16, 17, 18. Killing all the MMCs would be enough to get them off, meet that qualification. We got the penetration of Rostov, Russia, 1942. One board, 11 turns. Again, lengthy game. A lot of concealment for the NKVD. So that would be all these can start concealed, and there's going to be up to 18. Well, I guess up to 9 dummy stacks if you stack just one squad set up everywhere. So, where is the real defense would be the question for the Germans, because they enter off board, so everything starts concealed for the Russians. Oh, and they have level B booby trap and Molotov capability. So this tank, the Germans only get one, can only be entered if a die roll of 1 is made during the German rally phase. So you roll a single die, and you need to roll a 1 for that one tank to enter and support your attack. Otherwise, it's infantry and a couple of limbered up guns. Interesting. I think this one's doable. 132 Hill 253.5. This one I want to try. One board, 8 turns. Germans on the attack in July 43, part of Operation Citadel. Russians are in defense, so this one's got a mix of armor, guns, defensive fortifications, troop types, engineers on both sides, OBA on both sides, and air support on both sides. So it's got the gamut. I definitely want to try this one once we get a little bit more experience under our belts to help offset the different types of battle that we're going to be facing here. And the troop count isn't that large, so it again makes it all very manageable, I think. Yeah, Hill 253.5, Dave. We'll put it on the calendar at some point. Block busting and block Rusk. So this is June 44 in Russia. Russians on the offensive, 2 half boards and the last 8 turns. Again, mixture of guns, fortifications, and tanks. Russians have the same, except they've also got engineers. No OBA, but the Russian force is considered elite. So that'll help with the special ammo qualification. Counterattack on the Vistula. So this is in Poland, August 44, 2 boards, 9 turns. Again, small counter mix. We got a single IS-2, Josef Stalin 2, 122 long tank versus VIBs, that's a King Tiger, so 2 King Tigers. And there's a 57 double long AT gun as well for the Russians. So I think that would be evenly matched in this game. I wonder what the balance is on Roar. Oh, Russian squads have Panzerfaust. Nice. Okay. Interesting. I think we'll try this one too. I keep saying we're going to try it, but we got to find the time to try all these scenarios. Because we don't have a lot of time. I'm going to do 1 scenario a week, so. Acts of Defiance, scenario number 135, Breslau, Germany, February 45, 3 half boards. Again, we got a mix of tanks, troop types, OBA. For the Russians only. Hand-to-hand is in effect, and no quarters in effect for both sides. So everybody's dying, and we're using the red numbers on the close combat chart. 23, 20, 21 are boards. 23 is a canal board. Um, so the Germans have to break every Russian MMC within the Russian onboard setup area. That is a tall order for them to do. Interesting. Acts of Defiance. All right, and then we have the last one, 136. Agony of Doom. 9 turns, 2 map boards. Looks like we got some Tigers with a 75 long, a couple of Jagdpanzer 5s, up against some ISU 152s, 122s, and a couple T-34 85s. Next up, we got counter sheets. So there's 14 of these to go through, so we'll go through them quickly. As I said before in the intro, I already have a lot of Beyond Valor products. I think I've got 2 versions of it already. So it's good to see the new counters just because I really don't like the way I clipped a lot of the old ones. Before I discovered the Oregon laminate or Oregon clipper, I was using an X-Acto knife, so my corners were ugly to say the least. Some of them really egregious. So my plan is to replace a lot of those counters with nicely clipped ones, and not to mention the old counter sheets from Beyond Valor 1. The die cutting was in the center of the card of the counters. So each you can still see on the corner on the sides of the counter sheets of the counters, excuse me, little nibs which have to be cut off, and usually I end up gouging them, so it even looks more horrific than just the nice beveled corners. So this is sheet number 14. We'll go 14 down to 1. A mix of various miscellaneous counters. Again, artwork is really nice and clean. I like the legibility of the text, especially these motion ones. Again, some of the older ones I have, these are like almost grayish. The text isn't so clear. It's very smaller font. This is a nice large font, and therefore much more legible. So definitely. This is a half sheet, so it's sheet number 13. This has got some finished counters, so it's concealment, support weapons, and crews. And a couple of finished heroes, along with some Knight Starburst and Star Shells. And skis, of course. I mean, I got so many skis, but again, a lot of them are the old counters with the center die cutting. All right, we're on to the Germans. So this is German tanks, as you can clearly see. Complete battle order. Barring what's in some of these special historical modules where they might have some unique ones, like the Sturm Tiger, for example. And I believe that's available in Hakapale. Hopefully that's coming in clear. Let that focus. So here we have a lot of armored cars and half tracks and a couple of Jeeps in there. And then of course we have more armor up top. More Knight stuff, as well as some rubble and shell hole markers. And then finally up at the top we have German and looks like American fighter bombers. Not sure why the Americans are in here, but I guess they needed to fill a void with something. Russians. So we got the nice juicy looking Joseph Stalin 2s up at the top. Or actually those are 3s. Those are 3s. Again, nice clean artwork detail on the vehicles. I'm really liking the new counter sheets. We got some more finished stuff here at the bottom with some more Germans that didn't make it onto the other sheet. More Russian vehicles, as if that wasn't enough. We got some flamethrower tanks down here in the center. There they are. And a whole bunch of T variants as well. Here we got the monster Russian tanks late war. All right, sheet number 8, almost half done. These are smaller German tanks, and you got the bigger German ones here at the bottom. You get to the guns, so half is German, other half is Russian. Now we're into more miscellaneous counters, so we've got more rubble and pillboxes up top here with foxholes and shell holes. Here's your cavalry. And on this side here, you got your motorcycles and bicycles. Now we're into the troop types. So again, we got Russians here. So the left side is your main Russian force. Up top here, we've got partisans. See if that'll focus. There we go. 337s and some 127 half squads. And we got your crews and conscript squads down there, along with some more acquisition counters. Some Germans and Finns. I don't know how many of these are going to be cropping out the Finns. I already got the Hakapala set, which has more than enough Finns for my liking. All right, more Finns and Germans. So this one's got leaders as well as crews and half squads. And same with the Finns on that side. There's some special ammunition counters down here for being out of those ammo types. Again, I don't know how many of these are going to be put actually on the vehicles or guns. Ammunition cards, if you remember, or I should say vehicle AV cards that came with the deluxe module from first edition ASL. I don't know how many guys have those, but that's probably where those come into play. And here we have more again as well. So we've got Russian leaders and support weapons. Some partisan leaders there, the 8-0s and 8-1s. I think those are partisan leaders. And then we got some German support weapons, as well as a couple of Finnish ATRs. And then lastly, we've got some more miscellaneous counters of the firing variety, by and large. You got your residuals up top. First fire and prep fire. Surprising there's not more DMs, but I guess a lot of scenarios aren't that huge. Campaign games tend to have extra DM counters on the counter mix, which is always a good thing. On the right side, we've got what we got? Blazes and prisoners of war, motion counters, wall advantage, that kind of stuff. Some cupolas and pins and TIs up top. All right, first up, we got board number 23, city board. Obviously, you can see with the large canal running right down the center. This one's using that citadel scenario I was talking about before. This is that church that was in the Russian setup zone. So you set up a Russian MMG here with I think it's a neg-2 or neg-1 leader. He's going to control all this area here with his guns. So you can try and fight him as a German and hope for that, but it's probably just a waste of time. Your best bet is probably to come over this bridge and then just make your way here. I believe these bridges are blown. I think that's the only one that's left. I think. But yeah, it was a fun scenario to play. Next up, we got board 22, which is another village board. A mixture of stone and large stone buildings and wood buildings, orchards. In Western Europe, I could see these roads staying paved, but in Eastern Europe, they would probably be changed to plow or dirt roads, just to represent that kind of region. You don't see too many of those in early war Russia. Board 21, this one takes place, is used in that fighting withdrawal scenario, scenario number 1, with the Finns setting up north of this road. Russians in this location, and a couple of the Russians can be set up south in this location. So I think a lot of guys set up a machine gun nest somewhere up here, maybe up here, up on an upper level, just to control this access down these fire lanes. And you try and stop the Finns from exiting off the south edge of the map board. The caveat being that you have to enter more, you have to exit more troops off the south board than the Germans, while fighting, or than the Russian, the Finns, excuse me, while trying to knock their numbers down, make it manageable. Fun scenario, and a huge graveyard right in the center with row houses and all the rest of it on the way. Now the city board, board number 20. This one's used a lot. A lot of row houses in this one. Multi-level buildings. Nice huge warehouse or factory, whatever that could represent. Not too many buildings have an interior building hex that's not invisible from the outside, so that's one of them, obviously. Board 20. Board number 8, another river board. I think there's only 3 river boards in the main set of boards. I think 7, 8, and 23, I think, are the 3. As far as I can recollect. Maybe board 40, I'm not sure. At any rate, this one's got the nice chateau citadel up on top of the hill, overlooking the river. Nice and scenic vantage point for all your fire groups. And on the other side of the river, you got these tall 2.5-story wooden buildings. So a river crossing from either side is going to be death, and definitely not enviable. So you want to probably do a nighttime crossing if you were to do something like that in real life, or have a hell of a lot of smoke and mist covering your approach. Board number 5 is the wood board. I hate this board. This is just too dense to fight over. It's like, forget about city fighting. I mean, that's really dense terrain to try and move through. It slows you down trying to fight in it. You only get 1 hex ranges. Great if you're a defender, but if you're an attacker, it's probably not optimal. You know, the one lone road, prime ambush territory along the way. We go to the last 4 boards, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is number 4, small little hamlet, I guess. Again, mix of terrain, a lot of open ground in this one. This 1.5-story building gives you a lot of advantage to lots of the terrain. It's probably be even worse if the grain was not in season. And one of the hill boards. So this one here, one of the scenarios in this Beyond Valor 3rd edition, I can't remember the name of it, but these 2 hills have changed into something else. I think this one's turned into a woods, and this one's turned into a level 0. So the hill doesn't exist. Just this is a wood forest area, and this is a normal plains area. So again, this is something that Vassal can take care of nice and handily. It's also the setting for the Gavin Take American Airborne versus German scenario that Dave and I played. Germans, or the Americans, come in from these 2 road hexes here, and you basically have to exit off that one there. And there's a cluster of Germans in the center. Now, if you're an aggressive American player, like probably good players are, a key tactic would be just to bum rush the center, because there's no way the Germans can withstand that kind of firepower coming at them. And with a 10-3 and a 10-2 to rally all the broken Americans, they quickly back into the fray while the Germans are just retreating and dying in hordes. So yeah, an aggressive American attack down the center is probably the best way to win Gavin Take if you're the American. German, hope for dice rolls and maybe a sniper to take out a 10-2 or 3. Board 2, another hill board. One thing I was remarking on is the I don't know how to describe it there, but the terrain seems kind of, it's like it's too new. It's like this is too stark in contrast to this, Like it's because it's brand new artwork. When you look at the 40-year-old stiff board map board that I have, you know, the same map, the colors are a lot more blended into each other because, again, they're faded and such. So it's, on the one hand, I like the aestheticness of it, but on the other hand, it seems kind of, I don't know if clownish is the word, but at any rate, it'll be, you zoom in there. Not so much. Doesn't like the zoom in effect, I guess. Oh, well. Then finally we have board 1, the city board that a lot of scenarios are started on. Um, yeah, what can we say about this one? It's probably been the most played map board in the ASL map pack. Again, nice clean artwork on the brand new maps. Love it. Nice brand new. Keep them out of the sun, and for the love of Jesus, don't just spill anything on them like coffee or something. Because then you have to buy a whole new set, and they're not cheap. All right, guys, that was Beyond Valor 3rd edition from Multi-Man Publishing. There's a shot of the back. Shows the map boards and 2 of the scenarios, as well as a nice summary of what you find in the back of the game. Yeah, playing time 2 hours or more. Definitely the or more part for most scenarios. I would say most of them probably take 3 to 4, and they have some scenarios in this pack that are 14, 13 turns. I could see them taking 5, 6 hours, if not more. Yeah, so Beyond Valor 3rd edition. It's the essential module you need to play the game because it has all the core counter mix. You can't play ASL on, on tabletop at any rate without it. There's no rules in it, just scenarios and a counter mix, but you need the counter mix. It's got the complete Finnish, German. Well, I guess it's a starter set for the Finnish. Complete German, complete Russian, some partisans, well, the partisans, included in it. So it's a lot of counters that got to be clipped and added. But again, like I said, it's a core module and you need it to play. 130 bucks, Multi-Man Publishing website. I live in Canada, so you tack on shipping, and for me it was north of 200 to get it to my door because I had to pay Canada Post an additional 30 bucks because they're Canada Post, which sucks. Yeah, Beyond Valor 3rd edition. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and happy ASLing to you guys. I'll see you in the next video.